Hey guys, this is Joe Snell. A pair of suicide bombings devastates Iraq's capital. Hundreds are arrested in violent protests in Tunisia. And in his final day in office, former US President Donald Trump pardons dozens of people, including several tied to Iranian sanctions and Israeli espionage. Let's catch you up on these headlines from around the Middle East. We begin in Iraq, where a pair of suicide bombings exploded on Thursday in a busy market in the capital. At least 32 people have died and now hundreds are wounded after the bombers blew themselves up among a crowd of shoppers. These are the first deadly suicide attacks in the city in nearly 3 years. Moving on to Tunisia, where more than 600 people have been arrested across the country over increasingly violent protests. Tunisia is facing a severe economic crisis as a third of its young people are unemployed. This week's protests harken back to nearly a decade ago, when the Tunisian Revolution was one of the main triggers of the Arab Spring that erupted across the region. Finally, in Washington, as one of his last moves in office, former US President Donald Trump pardoned dozens of people, including several tied to Iranian sanctions and Israeli espionage. Among those pardoned was Iranian-American Mahmoud Reza Benki, who immigrated to the US and was convicted in 2011 of violating a US trade embargo on Iran. Also receiving a full pardon was Avi Sela, who worked for Israel's intelligence service, the Mossad, and was referred to as the handler of Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard. Now hang on before you go, here's a list of a few events coming up in the week ahead. On Monday, the United Nations will resume talks to draft a new constitution for Syria. Also on Monday, Turkey and Greece will resume talks to settle their long-disputed territorial claims in the Eastern Mediterranean. And on Wednesday, the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee will hold a hearing on nominations of members of the new Joe Biden administration. And that's your MENA news for this week, and some for next week. For more reading on the region, make sure to visit our website at www.al-monitor.com. Until next week, stay safe, everyone. I'm Joe Snell.